So far, we've talked about the fact that the Suns have traded Josh Okogie for Nick Richards. The Suns have sent 2 or 3 second-round picks to Charlotte. In return, they have received Nick Richards and a second-round pick, which is a 2025 second-round pick. So that's this upcoming draft, and it's via Denver. All right, so let's try to bring Suns Geek back in here. He's just frozen.
We just have to start wishing some really bad shit happens to the Denver folk, yeah?
Yeah, we do. But I think the key thing here is Saul's right. Too early for a pod. So the key here is that 2025 second round pick, that's a trade chip. So essentially the Suns lost 2 first round picks in this, or second round picks.
That's what I was going to say. We technically just lost 2 picks.
Exactly.
People are going to see the 3 picks and they're going to freak out. It's like
So let me ask you both this question. If the Suns sent Josh Okogie to the Charlotte Hornets for Nick Richards, and they sent Josh and 3 picks and just got Nick Richards back, how would you feel about this deal? So that's a thumbs up for our listeners from both. Thumbs up from both. So now, tell me why.
Boyd, you want to start? Because I'm scared of my internet.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'll start. Nick Richards is first things first. He's that athletic guy. He's a ball of energy. He's going to be in the starting lineup. There's Shams is saying that he's going to be competing for a spot, but he's jumping straight in there in front of Plumlee, I reckon, no doubt about it. But he's a ball of energy. He's athletic. He's going to be able to do something with our KD and Booker and Beal. Do stuff that Nurkic and Plumlee can't
Mason
do.
Plum.
Osso's a bit too raw to do something like. We're going to be flying above that rim. There's levels to this. And Nick Richards has never played on a team like the Phoenix Suns, albeit we haven't played out our ceiling, but he's been on a shitty fucking Charlotte Hornets squad, right? So I think the game just might slow down for Nick Richards a little bit.
Justin from the Fanning the Flames podcast, aka So Says Jay, is here. Justin, what's up, man? You here to rescue this show because my internet just sucks, man.
So, well, I'm working, so I just want to duck in to say like 2 things. 3 things. 1, this is awesome. 2, Void and I are awesome for basically calling this last night. And 3, you guys are doing a fantastic job. That's it.
Thanks, man.
I'm out.
Appreciate
Love you,
it.
Justin.
Go check out the new Fanning the Flames podcast episode, because not only did they finally do a podcast episode, but they did it on camera. So everybody check out Fanning the Flames. I retweeted it. John, you quote tweeted it. Everybody go check that out right now. Are we good for me to host right now? Like, is my internet actually going to cooperate now?
Your internet's kind of owning this,
God,
man. So now you can ask me questions. This is fucking great. This is what Boyd feels like every time he's on the Aussie Suns fan podcast. He just gets to answer questions.
For real, man. Yeah, John,
John,
you just relax, man. You just relax and hang out for a minute. So I feel like we've sort of covered a small part of this in the few minutes that we've had here all together, where we could actually talk about internet connection. So we get Nick Richards. We get a second round pick. Now that one is in this year's draft, right? The 2025 draft, which that's cool because this is a loaded draft class, I believe. But we did have to sacrifice 2 second round picks. Even though it says 3, we pretty much only sacrificed 2 second round picks. But the biggest thing, we have so much to talk about here, is we have a quality starting center. Now, yes, he's still young. He's 27 years old. He comes from a really bad Charlotte Hornets team, but I believe he's averaging like a double-double and all of that. He's athletic. He's young. He can rim run. He's going to catch a lot of lobs. That's going to be a lot of fun. But does this solve all of the Suns' problems? I was going to talk about this regardless whether we made this trade today, because, John, I was telling you backstage, I had a list of things I wanted to go over and talk about. And I don't mean to sound like a negative Nelly, Suns fans. You guys know me. I keep it positive. I keep it real. This isn't going to solve all of our problems, Suns fans. Nick Richards is not going to save us. Am I excited to see what he can do? Yes. Is he going to be productive and grab some damn rebounds? Which, by the way, that's a topic for later that I have to talk about. Yes, he's going to do that. but is he going to solve all of our problems? Absolutely. And that's not his fault. That is not his fault. So now that I gave you guys a breath, do you want to kind of roll off anything I said? Let's start with some positives. Forget negative Nelly Suns Geek for a minute. What are you most excited for that Nick Richards is going to bring? John, since you had to host, Boyd, I'm going to put you on the spot first again. What are you most excited that Nick Richards is going to bring?
Well, it's what we've been talking about. Well, it's the obvious things. He's a great shot blocker. I think, John, you shared a graphic recently that he's in the 96th percentile. Is that right, or around about? He's a great shot blocker. But it's the energy. It's the energy. It's the athleticism. It's what he can do in tandem with our other key pieces, and it's exactly what Nurkic couldn't do. But look, he's a starting center too. He has been a brilliant starter when Mark Williams has been out for the Charlotte Hornets. His per 36 numbers are great. I think it's 15 points, 12 rebounds, something in that realm as a starter. We don't even need that 15 points from our center. Give me 10 and give me 15 rebounds per game. Let's trim off the edges. And let's just get Nick Richards. Let's see. Another thing you were talking about, Voider, is that we don't see the fire in Booker nowadays. You know, the fist pumping, the screaming, the hey, let's get some of that from him. Let's have Osso coming in and maintaining that energy. Let's have Ryan Dunn always bringing that energy. We've got 3 of them now. So I think he's just what we need as a collective to bring, more of that enthusiasm out in the rest of the team. And it will be from highlight plays. That's what gets them going.
John, do you have anything you want to add to that? Like, what are you most excited for? What are you looking forward to in terms of adding Nick Richards to this team?
There's a lot of different answers to this question. So I guess I'll start with the word that we utilized a lot last year when we got Jusuf Nurkic on this team, and that was the word fit. Nick Richards is going to fit this team. You take a look at how they're built, the athleticism they possess, the shot making they possess, and unfortunately, Jusuf Nurkic, we thought was going to fit because in last year's system, when playmaking and positionless basketball were the buzzwords of the season, we needed a center who could play make and play above the break and pass. But this year, we haven't needed that from Nurkic. He's not playing above the break. We have him down in the post. We have him, and he's not making plays out of that position anymore. And we've seen, obviously, from an advanced metrics standpoint, his playmaking has regressed. His rebounding still elite. His field goal percentage is regressed. And so his fit with this team, with this Suns team, the 2024-25 team, is a lot different than it was last year, and he's had a hard time adjusting to that. Whereas Nick Richards, who has his deficiencies, let's not kid ourselves. See, this is a center who's being paid $5 million this year and $5 million next year. Some of that's for a reason. He has his issues. Defensively, he can get lost. But to Boyd's point, from a rim protection standpoint, from a rebounding standpoint, and from a rim running standpoint, athleticism, somebody if we had him last night, we win that game. Period. If he's in there playing the minutes that Mason Plumlee was playing, the Suns win that game, because despite all of the challenges that they had last night, where they gave up 20 offensive rebounds, where they allowed 27 second chance points, they still only lost the game by 5 points. So you have somebody who has his archetype out there playing with, as Boyd mentioned, that energy, that fire, that tenacity that this team so desperately needs. And don't get me wrong, Nurkic plays with some of those same characteristics. He just can't execute because he lacks the skill set necessary to do so. Nick Richards is going to temper some of that. And again, we're going to see times that everything frustrates us about everything. And we're going to find things about Nick Richards that we simply cannot stand as time progresses. But the other side of this is and the other reason I'm a fan of Nick Richards coming here is now you're not duplicative at your center position. You don't have Jusuf Nurkic and Mason Plumlee, who are both slow of foot, log down, slow the game down centers. You have a different archetype in there. And it also makes Nurk a little bit more expendable. Now, obviously, that's a whole other conversation. What
Yep.
teams are out there? What teams are interested in acquiring Yusuf Nurkic? Can you make those deals happen?
We'll get to that eventually.
But that now makes it even more of a full court press for the Suns to try to get rid of this dude.
Yeah, I'm trying to stay positive and optimistic about this. I guess it's better than what we have right now, because I was sort of a Mason Plumlee optimist coming into the season, and I had heard some complaints. I even had a couple people DM me saying, you guys are going to like Mason at the start, but you're going to hate him later in the season. I was like, oh, no, he'll be fine. He's an experienced center. Remember when we were like last live, John? I was like, oh, Mason Plumlee should be starting over Oso Ighodaro because he has the experience. Don't listen to what I say. I don't know what I'm talking about. Oso Ighodaro should have been the one who's starting, because when he's out there, he's actually productive and has energy and can actually play a little bit of defense too. His defense is growing right in front of our eyes. So I agree with both of you guys. He's going to bring energy, rebounding. He's going to bring a lot of shot blocking. I think that's sort of the one thing that I'm personally overlooking here. 1.2 blocks per game, I believe.
Sounds good. Appreciate it.